Divas, welcome to the Divatude Experience. I hope you have enjoyed the speakers that we've had so far, and I look forward to presenting to you the rest of our speakers for this week. We have a fantastic lineup. Today we have Keita Bryant, the editor of Kokoa Magazine. I love Keita. She is an awesome diva, and I am just so thankful for the support that she has shown Divas with a Purpose over the years. I actually connected with Keita when she was a fairly newer blogger, and I was brand spanking new. I don't even know if I was blogging yet or not. But one thing about Keita is that she has this way of telling a story and connecting with people. And that's exactly what she's talking to us today. She's talking to us about the importance of telling your story and connecting with people using your story. So I hope you enjoy her. She's got some great information for you. Enjoy. Go ahead and get started. Your topic today is telling your story to connect with others. Can you share why that's important to you?
People want to know your story. We're all nosy. I'm nosy. I like to know what's going on. So if you tell your story and your story comes from a place, people, I think, will resonate with your story. Rather than just putting your company out there, people want to know why. Why did you start your cupcake business? Why did you start your t-shirt business? Why did you start a candle business? What was the reason? And I think when you can give that reason and have a clear story to go with the reason, I think it'll make people feel like, okay, she started it. It was something that's more passionate to her. It's coming from a place of this really resonates with her rather than it's just kind of thrown out there, if you know what I mean. Some people, they start things just to start things. I know a lot of people who start like 10 businesses and they just have no direction behind it. And it's because you don't have your story with it. And for me, if you're passionate about something, there's a story behind it. There's a story behind everything that you do and why you do it. And if you don't have the why, it may be lost on a lot of people because you need that why so that you can connect with your audience and get people to buy from you. That why is important. To me, it's like your motto. That's your mission statement. Something in that why should be in your motto or mission statement so that people can connect with you and buy from you so that they know you're serious about what you do because it comes from a place that they may not know where it's coming from, but they know it comes from a place of the heart. Because when you tell your story, tears come to your eyes, you smile, like you get a funny face when you're telling your story, and they'll know, oh, she's serious. You know, that person is very serious about their business. I want to buy from them.
That is awesome. I like that you mentioned the why because I think a lot of times people forget about the why. They're so focused on making money, building the business, and all of the things that go into building the business that sometimes they lose that passion and forget to go back to their why, their true reason as to why they did it, why they're actually starting their business. So can you tell our viewers and our listeners exactly how can they tell their story to connect with others so that they can build their business and be successful?
That's a great question. I tell my story by I just revamped Kokoa Media. And when I did Visually Kokoa, I didn't have my story on it. And when I revamped the Kokoa Media, I kept the same model and it's the same story. You know, it's the same story that I had from Kokoa Mag. But the reason that it resonated with Kokoa Media is because I actually told the story on the website when I reintroduced Kokoa Media. I put my story and my backstory on there. I had a couple people that actually emailed me and said, we didn't know all of this when you had your agents. You know, we didn't know your background story. We didn't know why you started Kokoa Media or why you started even Kokoa. We didn't know any of that. So putting it out there for me is important. And you can tell it by putting it on your blog, putting it on your website. Tell it to people. Don't go to people and sell people what you have. Start with your story. It's a great icebreaker. It's a great way to network. If you're selling candles, for example, don't go to them and say, "Oh, buy my candles." Hey, you know, I love working with my hands. I love wax, and you know what started me. And then go into your story. when you start telling your story, people will look at you, and most of the time they'll buy from you because they now know your story. They now know where you're coming from, why you're making the candles. You're not just doing it just to do it. So I feel like that brings trust, and it also brings people into their circle. It helps you network better when you can talk to people. It breaks the ice, and people will, they'll remember you and they'll remember your story. So I feel like putting it on your website, a must. You must put it on your about page. Doesn't have to be long. A paragraph will do. Your story should be in your head. You should always be able to tell people where you come from, what you're doing, why you're doing it. It should be there. There should be no guessing or anything. But website, put it on your Facebook page. Put it on all your social media. Give a little piece of you when you're talking about your business. People want to know who you are, the person behind the business. It's great that you sell whatever you sell, but who are you? And so every chance you get, tell who you are. Tell that story about why you started and why do you do what you do.
I like that you mentioned that. I know because you do consulting, business consulting, and you help businesses kind of establish their brand and build their websites and their social media. So it's interesting that you mentioned that part about telling people more about the person behind the business and the brand. You're working with someone that I know who is really not comfortable doing that. So when she mentioned to me that, that you were encouraging her to kind of dig a little bit deeper and share with, potential clients exactly the rationale and the reasoning behind why she started her business, she was very apprehensive. But it's paying off for her because she's becoming more comfortable with her, not only her business, but I think also her why, which is so important because, we can't tell our story if we don't know our why. So I think that's a good example of how, your advice is paying off for a client of someone that you have worked with. Let's talk a little bit about you and your story and your why with some of the things that you have planned. How, especially with the revamping of your site and the change of the name, how do you see you telling your story to connect with others to go in the future? How are you going to build upon that? And how can those that are listening, how can they build upon telling their story so that they can build their business and get a little bit more comfortable in their skin?
When I started with Kokoa Mag, the idea came, I was in a grocery store line and I heard some young ladies, probably about between 14 and 16, talking. They saw, like the little National Enquirers and the little magazines and stuff that be on the racks. And they picked it up and they said, oh, I want to be like Rihanna, or, oh, I want to be like Miley Cyrus, or these are my idols. And it got me to thinking, why is there no magazine for real people? Live down the street who gives her last to children who are hungry. You have teachers who spend their own money to make sure that their students learn. You have hardworking men who do what they need to do. They don't. They do what they need to do. Although it may be hard, they do it. You have so many untold stories of real people who live a regular life. They don't even make $50,000 a year. But they still live and they live a happy life. And they do for others that their stories are told. And then you have our young ladies looking up, and nothing's wrong with looking up to famous people. That's fine. But I want them to know that there are people right in our own backyard who are just as good, who have stories, connect with stories, the real life of real people. I want to talk about topics that affect our lives. A person who makes $1 million within a month, they don't go with what we go through.
No.
They don't know what we go through because they make $1 million a month. Some people don't even make $1 million by the time they die. And you want to get that story out there because they just don't go through what we go through. Now, as far as like health issues, yeah, we all have, health issues, and we all have sadness and fear and all of that. But I'm talking about when you have to choose between gas and groceries and food on your table, that's something that they don't know. And if they were born into that, they don't know how to live that life. So I want my magazine to connect the story of others, to connect and the topics of others, to connect with the real life. This is real. This is how I live, and I want people to understand that, those who make less than six figures, we live. There's a lot that we have to take on, not to mention fear and health and all that other stuff. We still have to worry about money, living paycheck to paycheck. How are we going to pay the bills? I'm not afraid to say there were times where I went hungry. I didn't have enough money, couldn't find a job. Those are the people, but I still try to encourage others, and those are the people who live right in our own backyard. And I think that's why I started Kokoa Mag, because I wanted to get that feeling out there. I wanted people to know this is the story, this is my story, it can also be your story. And I want all of the stories to be told so that our young ladies can maybe come upon one of my articles and say, "Oh, that's the such that lives down the street. I didn't know she went there. I didn't know last time," because they don't know. And I want them to know. Now, that's the same thing with Kokoa Media. I kept the same theme with my business. There are a lot of businesses that want to start their own, but they don't have the money. And it hurts my heart when I see small businesses that don't have a decent website, or their logo looks a hot mess, or one more thing about social media, and they don't have the money to put into it. Because a lot of web designers charge over $1,000, $1,500 to do a web design, or some people charge $500 to do a logo. And I feel like you're starting off, you want to look nice, so I give you quality work to start you off. When you making $1 million, you may want $1 million logo, and that's fine. But I want you to start off looking nice. I want you to start off having a presence right off the jump. And I try not to charge, like people will come to me, and I've done a lot of things for free, because I just want you. I'm so passionate about people who want to start their own business that I really don't really care about the money. I mean, I care about the money, but if you know me, I don't like some people will be like, "Oh, can I pay you?" I had a lady pay me $10 a week. That's how she
Oh,
comes.
wow.
Fine, that's fine. Work with me, I'll work with you, because I want you to have something nice. And so the model that I have for the magazine, Real Life, Real People, is the same one I teach to Kokoa. I'm helping real businesses start off with something quality without the high prices, because I know how it is to start a business, and I've had help, and I want to give that help. And so I kept the same model, and that's the story that I keep with all of my businesses, trying to keep everything branded, basically helping people who don't have a lot.
That is awesome. That's very commendable too, because a lot of times people try to, unfortunately, take advantage of those that are just starting out. So your passion for giving back and helping new business owners is great. I like that you mentioned that even though you have different businesses, you're keeping the same theme throughout the businesses, because again, your why is going to be your why no matter what business you're doing. So I think that's a good tip for those that may have 10 or more different businesses. It's okay to have multiple businesses out there, but just kind of make sure that you have some way to connect them, so that when someone knows you, it's your way of branding yourself. Like you said, that's kind of a way of branding yourself, so that people can recognize that. And then I think it adds some, I'm trying to think of the word that I'm looking for, but it's, if I see you in this business and you're one way, and then I go to this other business and you're totally different, I'm going to be a little questionable as to kind of like, yeah. So I think that consistency in branding, I'm sure that's the official word that you would use, but that consistency in branding throughout your different business opportunities. I mean, it's okay to have multiple businesses, but just make sure that you're staying true to yourself and to your why and to your brand. So thank you for pointing that out. You've done it. I think you've covered everything. Is there anything specific else that you wanted to add regarding staying true to yourself and just telling your story to connect with others to help build your business?
Just I would say, when you have a business, have a blog so that you can talk on it. For me personally, this is my personal thing. If you're going to have a blog, make money. Have a blog. I don't care if you're selling Avon. Tell something. Don't just take up space because there are millions of bloggers. Now, if you want to do it as a passion, just to have a passion, most people, they start off, oh, I'm going to have a passion. I want to start blogging, but they want the opportunity. Like, you're not going
Mm-hmm.
to, especially if you're working a full-time job, you're not going to just to blog. You want something out of it. Have a blog where you can talk. When you talk on your blog, talk in your voice as if you're talking to your best friend. I don't want to come to your blog and hear a bunch of presidential talk or politician talking. This is not what's the guy's name that uses the big words? I forgot the guy who uses all the big words.
Oh, I can't think of it. I know who you're talking about, but he's like, everything is expeditiously done.
Yeah. I don't do that on your unless you talk that way every day. I don't get to the real story. Cut all the bull crap out. Talk regular, like you talk to your friends on the streets. I don't need you to talk to me in big words. I know what the word means. I have it. I don't need to hear all that. There are so many blogs that are so boring. And you go in there and you read it. Oh, I went to the store today to buy this. Look at what I bought. No, tell the story. Girl, did you see that in the store? I went just like how you talk in real life. Connect with people because that's a part of your brand. That's a part of your story. Now, if you're the person that says the big words all the time and you have that blog, great. I'm not going to read it because I feel like it doesn't connect with me. But tell your story on your blog. Talk as if you're talking to regular people. When you're doing a product review or you're working with a company or a brand, you can tell a story in your own words and still sell the brand. There are many stories that I have on my website right now. You wouldn't even know I'm talking about the brand unless you see the disclosure statement because I'm telling a story and you're thinking, oh, Kina just telling me about her day or just telling me a regular day at the grocery store, but I'm actually working with that brand. But I try to get that a thing that's out there. Of course, you'll see the disclosure statement, but from reading, you wouldn't know I'm working with a brand or I'm not. Because I want to make sure everything fits. All of my stories, every blog or article that I put out, everything fits. I want to make sure that I tell my story in my voice. Use your voice. That's what makes you unique, and stick to that. And it sometimes it takes a while. I've been in the game since 2010, and I'm just now starting to see, a change. But stick to your voice. Don't let anybody come to you and say, oh, change your post around. I even had one lady, I was supposed to write for a big website, and they wanted me to write, but they wanted me to change my voice. No, I'm not doing it.
They don't know Kita.
I'm not changing my voice. This is who I am. If you want me to write and you like what's on my site, don't tell me, well, we need you to change this up, or can you not use that word, or can you? No, that's who I am. You don't like it, you can go to somebody else. Simple as that. Stick to who you are. Tell your story. Talk in your voice, and be engaging. Don't be boring, because when you're boring, you will tell a story. You want your articles or your posts to be page turner. You want people to be like, oh, I love how she tells a story. I want to come back. You want it to be a good book. Think of your website or your business or your blog as a good book that you want people to read every time they get up in the mornings, or you want people to read what you got. You want people to come back to you. Oh, I can't wait to see what Kita says today. That's how you want to have whatever you do, business-wise, blog-wise, whatever. That's what you need to have.
I love it. And anyone that's connected with your websites will know that you stay true to your voice. And I think your site is one that, I have a few sites a few blogs that I have to read on a regular basis. And yours is always one that was like, I think from the first time I came across it, it's like, oh gosh, what's Kita going to say now? And you stay true to yourself though, but it's paid off for you. And that's a good thing, is that, staying true to who you are does pay off in the long run, because we can't change who we are inside. So if we try to kind of veer away from that, we're not going to be happy. And, even though we may make some money from it temporarily, because at the end of the day, we're going to go back to who we truly are.
And I also, I do my business too. So if a brand, if a company comes to me, Oh, I'm gonna tell you the real deal. And I'm going to tell you the truth. Like, if you come to me and you say, I want my logo to have the rainbow color, no, I'm not doing no rainbow color logos. It's not going to look right. Logo needs to stay simple. If you want rainbow color logos, goodbye. You're going to have to go to somebody. Like, I don't hold no bars, and I tell the truth on my business too with clients. I even do that with social media marketing. I've gotten a lot of clients who they want something on their social media networks that make people want to click. So that's what I do. So the same story or the same way that I am, I tell the story with the brands. I work with a big company. I won't say the name. It's a big insurance company, and I put up a funny Friday every Friday where I put up a picture of somebody maybe getting into like a car accident, and it's like you need a car insurance, and it's to show you need car insurance, and it's to get the people talking. It's to tell a story for the car insurance. So you want people to be engaged. You want people to say, look at that picture. Like, let me click the picture, and that makes people remember you. Remember you because you want people to click on your business, and you don't want a boring social media feed where it's just you want something that stands out, and that's what I do with my clients and everybody. So if you're looking just to be plain Jane, then I'm not the social media marketer for you. Things on your any social media that I do, you're going to stand out and you're going to stick out like a sore thumb because people don't if you're not unique or you're not different, people don't talk about you.
Yeah, there's so many businesses popping up there that you have to find that thing that makes you different and unique. So let's, as we're wrapping it up, let's say I'm watching and I want to tell my story and I'm trying to be unique to myself. Is there something actionable that I could do once I'm finished watching this video to go ahead and get me started if I'm not quite sure how to actually tell my story to connect with others?
Look back at your posts, your articles, your writings. What's the one that people stand out and comment on the most? Look at the comments. Look what they're saying. You can tell a lot from the comments. Tell you what you need to know. If you see comments like "great post," bang, it didn't resonate with them. Something just to put something. If they go into a long paragraph where they're writing 2, 3, 4, 5 sentences, that's the type of storytelling that you need to stick with. Even on your Facebook page. If you get comments and stuff on certain posts, and not all posts will be seen, of course, but if you get certain comments on certain posts, that's the type of storytelling you need to tell. Go and look back at what you've written. Go back and look at what makes people laugh. Think about what makes people take notice of you. When you go out and you network, what do you say to people that makes people want to come back and talk to you? Do you hold a conversation or do you just say, hi, here's my business card? So what do you do when you go wherever you go? Do you tell your story? And if you don't, get in the habit of telling your story so that they're interested, so that they want to call you without selling. I would say do that. Go back, look at the post, see which ones people like the most, looked at the most, see their comments. If they gave a paragraph, that's what.
That's the one thing.
Yes, next to your story. I always say, make it like a book that you can't put down. So if you're reading it, and I always like to I do like opinions from other people, but try to get an opinion from somebody that's not in your circle. Because when you step outside of your circle, they don't know you, but they're gonna tell you the truth. And that is, to me, if you can get 1 or 2 persons that don't read you every day, don't keep up with you, don't know anything about you, and you get them to read something, they'll give you their honest opinion. And 9 times out of 10, I go with that before I go with my circle. Because in my circle, they'll be like, "Oh, they're scared of me." So
I wonder why.
Tell me the truth, but I value that. Come to me with the truth. Tell me, I didn't like that, or I like when you do this story. Perfect example, when I gave out I did a survey. Surveys are great too. I did a survey asking what people wanted to see more on Kokoa Magazine. Out of the 300 and something people that answered, most people said they missed my voice that I had on Say What You Wanna. The
Oh,
magazine
yes.
was too. It didn't have me in it,
Right.
which it didn't. I wasn't doing a lot of the posts, and I was trying to be something else, trying to have that magazine type tone and all of that because I'm not trying to be. I wasn't in that blog realm no more. I'm trying to get out of that blog realm, trying to be a more factual magazine. But you can be whatever you want. So if I
Mm-hmm.
lost my voice, it's my magazine. And so I had to get back into talking in my voice. As soon as I did that, my number shot up. You have to stick with what you know. Yeah, it's great, and I do have contributors, and there are a lot of things on my magazine that are not in my voice, and you can tell which ones are not. But for the
Mm-hmm.
most part, I now give my voice, to most of the magazine because that's what people miss the most. So always go outside of your circle. That's the best thing I can tell you. I went outside my circle for my business 2 weeks ago. Got some great tips, implemented them. Bam! I got over 300 people following me on. Yeah, I got 300 people following me on Twitter
Oh, that's
just
awesome.
just by stepping out, asking somebody outside of my circle what did they think of my business. They gave me their opinion. They didn't know me. I
Mm-hmm.
implemented those opinions because it was for Twitter, and I got over 300 likes. I mean,
Oh,
300
wow.
on Twitter.
That is
But
awesome.
yeah,
Let me go find some people outside my circle to get some advice from.
yeah.
Okay, so this has been great. You've given some wonderful information, some actionable steps, and just some things to really ponder on. So I want to thank you so much for taking the time out to share with us. How can our audience learn more about you and the information and resources that you provide to help them on their journey?
Um, Follow me on Facebook, Coco Magazine, and follow me on Twitter. Instagram is great to follow me on Coco Mag. But if you just go to cocomag.com, you can email me
Mm-hmm.
anytime. I'm open for questions. Now, I may not be very voiceful a lot of times, but if you come to me with a question, I'm going to answer your question. If you ask, I'll answer it. If you say, Kita, I don't have $100 today, can I get you another time? That's not ask. If you don't ask, you won't know. People are afraid. People are afraid of me. And I had one lady tell me that she was scared to come and ask me a question about my magazine. Don't be afraid. I'm gonna tell you the truth. Ask. So always email me, Kita B, Kita, which is another thing. I use my real name for my emails because I answer my own emails. So it's Kita B at cocomag.com, and you can email me anytime. I do answer my emails and check my emails. I don't have no intern. I check my 300, 400 emails every morning that I get myself, and I answer back as much as I can and as fast as I can. So always come to me, ask me a question. I don't mind answering the question. I am not one of those people who have 10,000 followers and I don't answer people back. I'm not. I don't care if I have 50 million followers. If you ask me a question, I will answer. I'm unapproachable. I'm real, but I'm approachable. I'm real. I'm gonna tell you the truth. But you can
You
ask.
stay true to your brand.
So
Oh my goodness. Well,
on all of my social medias, and I don't know if you'll put that up or whatever, but
I
all of
will.
my Facebook, and I'm on Facebook every day. And but the best way, I'm on Instagram, Facebook. But the best way to really, really keep up with me probably would be my newsletters. Um,
Hmm.
Always get me in my newsletter, and that's where I really get to the nitty gritty in the newsletters.
She
So
does. You want to subscribe to her newsletter.
yeah,
I'll
so
put a
that's
link
what
to
you really
subscribe
want
to
to
your
subscribe
newsletter.
to. I try to be good in the public eye, but for my private, I'm more bad.
But you take care of your newsletter subscribers and your customers as well, because you provide a lot of very valuable information and use some wonderful specials and sales for your social media business and your design business as well. So as a subscriber, I appreciate that. Okay, well, I think we've covered everything. So again, thank you so much for taking the time to share with our audience.